how they met.
Okay.
Okay, we can start now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me start with my parents and how they met. My dad was a survivor during Second World War. He was around 17 years old when the Japanese came to the island, and he was one of the workers. There's a bunch of teenage boys that were taken by the Japanese and to be workers, to help build their bunkers and just serve them when they were on the island. So my dad was one of them during his teenage time, and he said that if they were treated kind of poorly, because if you don't obey them, they can get punished. And a lot of the time my dad said that there were quite a few boys that were shot because they were not obeying the commander or whatever. But he said that he was so obedient to every command that they did. So he became the wounded kind of boy, like when somebody got injured or needed wound care, he was there to help them to take care of the wounded soldiers. And he was never punished because he always obeyed the commander. And so that's how he became interested in becoming a nurse or a doctor or whatever. But he was not a doctor, but he was a physician, medical assistant to the providers in Kiribati.
Oh.
That's how he got interested, and he became, they call him a dresser, which is a dresser in the, I guess, British, it's equivalent to the physician assistant and taking care of the wounds. So he got training in that, and he became a physician assistant. So he traveled a lot. There was a hospital on the main island, and then my mom, this is how they met. My mom came from another island, and brought her dad because he was sick. So my mom brought the dad to the hospital.
Her father?
Yeah, her father.
Okay.
Because he was really sick, and there's really no treatment. There's like 33 islands, and it's very, very rare to have physicians in every island. So when there's like somebody that's really sick, they have to transport them from another island to the main island so that they can be treated. So my mom brought my grandfather to the hospital, and that's how they met my dad. That's how they met over there. And they got married. That's how I kind of know a little bit of that. And since we grew up as Protestants, yeah, little that I know, they like to go to church. Actually, my mom likes to be, she grew up as an Assembly of God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she was taught in a Assembly of God, kind of like small school. So she knew a little bit English. Mm-hmm. And she was always asked to be the helper for the teachers or any kind of foreign or teachers that came from England, or she always helped them babysit their kids or cook. So she always stayed with them in their house and helped them out, babysit or cook for them. That's how my mom kind of grew up like that. Mm-hmm. And so when they met,
But she wasn't from Kiribati.
She's from Kiribati.
Oh, she is?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
She's from Kiribati too, but
it covers many islands?
Yeah, but
gotcha.
she came from another island.
Okay.
To the Tarawa. Tarawa is the capital.
Okay.
And that's where my mom and dad met, at the hospital, and that's where they got married. But my mom grew up in a place called Abemama. Abemama is an island where they have a lot of Assembly of God missionaries, mm-hmm. And they established a school over there, and that's where my mom goes to school with the Assembly of God missionaries, and she stayed with them as more like helper or a nanny, with them, and help with cooking and taking care of the missionaries' children. Mm-hmm. And that's where she learned how to speak English and how to write and read. Yeah, but that island, when they took my dad to the hospital, my grandfather,
Okay.
yeah, because he cannot be treated on that particular island. There was really no medical, what you call. I mean, it's very limited.
Yeah,
and,
they didn't have it
They don't
much in
have
the way
a
of
but
healthcare.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, the healthcare in all the islands is very, very limited and very poor, in a way. So, yeah, my grandfather died at the hospital. He didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they buried him on that on Tarawa, the capital. So my mom stayed behind, and she got married to my dad. Yeah.
Do you know what year that was that they got married?
I should have gone and looked at the only way I know is looking at my family history, but I believe in the 1940 something, that's when they got married. Yeah. I need to get the dates right. So, yeah.
And how many children did they have?
So because of my dad's job, they tend to send him everywhere on the island. And remember, there's 33 islands.
Oh.
So they travel a lot. Like they go from one end of the islands to the other, and then he's sent all over. So my mom always traveled with my dad during those early times. There were 6 of us then. There were 3 boys before me, and then I was born, and then I have 2 more siblings after that. And then when they became members of the church, they have another child, which is a surprise because we thought they're done, because the range between my age and my younger sister, she's about like 17 years old. 17.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, 17 years apart.
Between you.
Me
Okay.
and my younger sister.
Yeah. So there's 3 boys, then you.
Then me, and then another boy, and then a sister. And then
the baby.
And then the baby sister.
And she's, how much younger is she than the last child before her?
It's funny because my older brother never even met her when she was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because he was already gone.
We are already all gone. I wasn't even gone, and I didn't even know that my mom was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was gone, and I was surprised that I have a sister.
Because you were gone from 14 to
14,
18.
yeah. And they had her when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, so we travel a lot, but the thing is, my mom and dad were on another particular island, and there's only 3 boys then. And my mom decided to go to the main island to give birth in the main island because she doesn't trust, But it's funny because my dad and all of them were on that particular island. He was being a physician then over there, and my mom decided to hop on with the nurse to go to the main island and gave birth, but she didn't make it. I was born on the
Tell me the whole story of your birth.
I don't really remember a lot.
Whatever you know.
Yeah, whatever I know. I was just told that my mom left my dad with the 2 other boys, the 3 boys, and she hopped on the boat with the nurse, and thinking that she can make it to the main island to give birth on the main island. And instead, I was born on the ship, and the ship called Moana Ra'oi. And luckily, there was a nurse on the boat, and she was able to help me, help my mom give birth right there and there. They said all of the stuff that needed to be cleaned, they were all thrown in the ocean. My mom always make a fun that everything that, because in the culture, they kept all the stuff and they buried them, right? Like the remaining of the...
Oh, like the placenta
and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, the family would take him. They asked to take him and bury them.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cultural or, yeah. they like to keep them, and usually they give in and they bury
They would
them.
bury it.
Yeah. But this time, my mom said that the placenta and everything was thrown in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Shark bait.
yeah, the shark bait. She said, yeah, it's pretty much that's the shark ate whatever it ate. And I was just saying, oh my goodness.
Part
Yeah.
of you got eaten by a shark.
Yeah, but she always said, I think you're going to be a traveling kid. She always think that because I was born on a ship, that I won't, she already kind of know that I'm not going to be living on the island, that I'm going to be hopping, everywhere. And
Little did she know.
yeah, little did she know, yeah, I surely did.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's how, yes, the captain then called me Ra'oi.
Mhm.
And according to my mom, she said that there's another lady, or maybe before me, that he was also born on the ship. I guess it's very common because when you travel between island to island,
They
it's
don't make
far.
it, yeah.
It can take like 2 to 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just depends on the
So
distance.
you took a boat to the ship? Is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
We took
And
a small boat to the ship because the ship they don't have a pier or a harbor. Or the only harbor that they have is on the main island, the capital. But most islands, they anchor way out in the ocean, and then a small boat will take them to that big boats, and then they travel to the next island. Yeah.
Wow. So, talk a little bit about your childhood, just from what
I
things that you remember,
Yeah.
like your responsibilities,
Yes.
your activities, and like the kind of things you did to play.
Okay, so the island, finally we settled on the island. The main important thing with my parents is to have us get educated, and to, another thing that we always have, like food on the table. Those are the main thing that we grew up with. We don't have a lot of material stuff. We grew up in a thatch home, that they built on the main island, because my parents didn't belong on the main island, the capital. They have to purchase a land, and my mom purchased the land for 1 acre, almost 2 acre land for, how much did she say? 125 or 150?
$?
Yes,
She bought 2 acres of land.
almost 2 acres
Yeah.
of land for that amount. Yeah. So we settled on that piece of property, and the main reason is that my mom said, I don't want to travel with your dad anymore. It's just so hard on all of us. So she figured that it's best for us to purchase the land on the capital and settle, build a house and settle, and so that way we can get education. Because the education is a lot better on that island too, on the capital. There's more opportunity to be educated. So she settled with us, and my dad just go.
And the capital is
On Tarawa.
On Tarawa.
Tarawa, yeah. So my dad would travel all over the islands. And sometimes he'd be gone for like 1 or 2 years, and then he'll return. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So we always kind of stay with my mom, and my brothers were always, we grew up that way. And whenever my dad is home, he always makes sure that we have enough, because his income is not enough to feed all of us, like 6. So there were times when we grew up with growing hogs, like pigs and chickens, because that's how to live, that's how to supplement our income, is to try and build that piece of land as like a self-reliance kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah. So my dad would come home and he would tell, because my brothers were a lot older than they're really, we were raised like really to be workers, really hardworking family to be able to survive, and not so much relying on my dad's income, because he doesn't have a lot. So, But the thing is, he saved a lot of those income while we live off the land and whatever we do, so he can save it for our education. Growing up, you have to pay school fees in order to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be between $50 a year to $100, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Unless if you go to a high school, the high school is very limited to. There's a government high school that was used to be run, because we were ruled by England, so they established the school system like England, and you have to take so much exams. Mm-hmm. In order to go to the next grade, Uh-huh. Yeah, we always been tested. And if you don't pass, then you're tough luck. Yeah. So the school was established the high school was established, and if you passed certain test at the end of the year, then you get to go to the high school. And it's almost like a prestigious high school, like the best of the best. Yeah. Kids that only chosen, you know, if you pass that particular exam, then you're chosen to go to that school. So that's how I grew up. We most of the time we grew up with, we grow our own foods. We sometimes, when we don't have any meats, we go to the ocean and just catch fish. There's plenty of fish during that time when I grew up. We'll go with the nets. Either we do the, what do you call? The fishing rod? Yeah, mm-hmm. Fishing pole, or most of the time we use the fishing nets. Mm-hmm. Where me and my sibling will go out and take the nets and just surround, and I sweep the fish from there. And that's how we kind of grew up. And there's a lot of seashells, like oysters and clams and stuff like that. So every day we'll go and find, you know, meats like that. Because when I grew up, we didn't even own a refrigerator. We never heard of refrigerator. The whole people on the island, they don't own refrigerators. So the only way to eat is get fresh food every day. And a lot of the time we'll smoke it or barbecue so it stay longer, or do salted fish. Yeah. Yeah. So, or fish turkey. That's what my mom would do in order to have a long period of food. Mm-hmm. To preserve food is by doing beef.
Like a turkey.
Yeah, turkey kind of, and dry it on the other side.
Dry it out.
Yeah, so we don't have there's really no toys. You don't really grow up with, there's no toys around. The toys that I can remember is playing with coconuts. And the house, we make up our own house, like we build our own houses, like with the tree house, just trying to make what we can play with. But a lot of our playing is the ocean. We go out and swim a lot.
Did you live close to the ocean?
Yes, we live very close. Like the back of my house is like maybe 100 feet away from the ocean. So me and my siblings, we spend a lot of the time just playing on the beach all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going to school, we have to walk almost close to 10 miles, going to school and back, walking.
Each way?
Each way.
Wow.
Because there's really no bus system. Maybe there's maybe one or two buses, school buses, but most of the time those school buses get filled. So a lot of the time, me and the whole neighborhood kids will be walking to school.
It had to have taken a long time.
We get up at 6 and get ourselves ready, and then my mom said, okay, time to start walking by 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Because school starts at 8. So that's when it can take us about an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, to walk.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time we'll run. Being young, sometimes, for me, I don't see it as a struggle. I saw it more like a fun thing because sometimes we'll be racing to school
Yeah.
with all the other kids. We'll be saying, okay, let's see who's the fastest and who can be at the school first.
Yeah.
So we'll be walking and running at the same time. To me, it was fun. But then there are times when it's so hard, like especially coming home from school. Sometimes it gets so hot when the sun is peaking, like at noon, and a lot of the time when that comes and I know it's high tide on the lagoon side, I would just take my stuff. I left all my stuff at school and just swim from the school to my house. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, because I get so hot and I just go swimming with my uniform. All of us will be in the water swimming until we reach out. Everybody's home. Okay, I'm arriving. Some, they go home but I felt like we're always the last one because we live. They said that we live in the bush, like the countryside, where we bought the property. Then there was not very many homes. I think there's only our house and maybe 2 miles is another home. On our left and another 5 miles is another home. Like it's very spread out. Now you don't see that anymore. It's compacted, like it's packed. Like, it's not like before. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of like my life. I would swim home because I get so hot. Yeah, sometimes me and my brothers would be swimming home, and to me it's fun. I don't feel tired. I feel refreshed because I've been in the water and I don't feel the heat. The only thing that I know is being thirsty a lot because it's so hot. And when you're in school, you already ate all your lunches and drink all your water. So that's the only thing that I felt, always thirsty when I go home.
What age did you start going to school? Do you know?
We started at 6. Yeah, we went to like primary school. They call it primary school here. It's elementary school, right? Yeah, we go to primary school around 6 years old. Yeah.
And I forgot to ask you what year you were born.
Oh, 1963. I was born 1963. May 1st, 1963. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. Did you have like responsibilities? I mean, you helped with.
Oh yeah,
your garden.
Yeah, we help with the raising pigs. We help with mostly the chickens and pigs, raising them.
Fed them.
Then we fed them, and that's our duty. We come home, we have lunch, or we ate, and then our mom said, "Okay, time to go. Go feed the pigs and go find food." And my mom would let us go play with other kids, the neighbors, and she probably 1 hour. We can never go play more than 1 hour, and then we come home and we do those responsibilities before we go to bed. My mom is a really good cook. It's funny, not funny, but she's a good bread maker. So she always she'll be baking like maybe 10 to 12 loaves of bread.
Wow. Twice
a week to feed us and to make sure that we have food for lunch, to make like sandwiches or whatever to take to school. Yeah, so that's how we grew up, and she's the one who always makes sure that we have foods to go to school and come home. She makes sure that we have foods when we come home from school. So I've never felt that I'm hungry, and that's another thing from growing up. My mom is always make sure that we have food in our stomach before we do anything. We never starve or anything. So that's one thing I kind of admire my mom, because I don't know, I didn't know how she does it with all the 6 of us then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she'll cook all kinds of different things, you know, with local foods and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Either fish or shellfish or whatever she can come up with.
That's great. And did you let's see? Do you recall any stories from that period when you were going to primary school? Any
kind of stories about
yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the thing that I remember most is going to when I went to school is looking back now. I kept asking myself, how did I know how to write, even in English? How do I know how to even read English? Because to me, we were taught two languages.
Mm-hmm.
One is the Kiribati language, and also we have to learn English. And going back, and the most thing that I remember was how my teacher really on top of reading. And the book that I remember the most is I See Spots. You know those,
Yeah.
have you seen those books?
Oh yeah, we use them. I use
Really?
them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh. I need to get out of them because that's those were my favorite books. Yeah. So I love to read, and sometimes I ask my teacher to say, can I just borrow that book so I can take it home and read it at home?
Mm-hmm.
And say, okay, sure, you can take a couple of them. So when I go home, I'll just hide myself and start reading, and practice. And maybe that's how, now that I remember, maybe that's how I know how to read and write. And even now, I love books. I mean, if I can get out of a really good book, I'll read it. Yeah, but in primary, I always wanted to be like in a play. So there were a couple times when I was in a play, and it was pretty cool because one of the play we made it up. We made it up because, again, in the island, there's a lot of kids that grew up with alcoholic parents, and thank goodness my dad never smoked, never take any alcohol. He hated those stuff. Well, my mom smokes then. She's a smoker, but he doesn't like those kind of stuff. So there's quite a few of my schoolmates grew up in a alcoholic home. And so we made up a play about a child being neglected because the dad was so abusive and alcoholic. It was like I think of the play, and almost every end of the year we have to do some kind of play at the school. And so that's one of the plays that we came up with.
So the children
Yes.
made up the play.
Yeah, we made up that play. We decided on a theme, and when you became like a senior, like then you're supposed to kind of put up this kind of play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So with our class, we made up this kind of play that we needed to make a play about a home where unstable, where alcoholic, and it was a big hit. We also came up with the song, about
really?
alcohol, being drunk, and that is when you do that you're neglecting your family and your children, and it was kind of like a really good and sad at the same time, because it talks a lot about the reality of what some of my schoolmates went through.
Sure, it was a wake-up call for some of the parents.
Yeah, when we did the play, the parents were just tearing. Like a lot of the moms were just, tearing because what we did, and it was a really good play, I think.
About how old were you when you?
I think I was in my last school year. I think I was 12. I think I was 12. That's when we end middle school. Was that correct? 12 or 11?
For middle school?
Yeah, here. What is the age group when you're done with middle school?
Well, here it's like 13, 14, because you start in
or
ninth
you
grade.
start to go.
You start in
Yeah.
ninth grade and first
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, I think I was 12 then. I was 12 then when we did this play, that the last part of my elementary school or primary school.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Wow. Did you have any like good friends, like a best friend? Or?
Yeah, I do have good friends. Some of them, like, I don't know if I really have really good girls friend. More so boys, I guess. I think I would prefer that because I grew up with 3 boys.
Brothers,
And yeah, brothers and a younger brother too. So I tend to play with a lot of the boys, and even now I look back and one of my friend in school finally got hold of me and say, hey, it's been a long time. We went primary, and I'm almost 60, and he's almost. And we were just going back and forth on message how we were playing and what we did when we were young, and he reminded me a lot of what we did and
what did you do?
One of the things that we like to do is to do hands-on. What do you call when you saw? What do you call that thing? Where you stand on your hand.
Oh, headstands?
Headstands.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. That's
or handstands.
Handstand.
Yes. No head. You can do it with your head down or
but
just
we
on
our hand,
yeah.
and I am so good.
Oh.
Yes, we can stand on our hand and run with our hand and compete, balance.
Wow.
Either we run with our hands and compete to the end of the line, or we fight with our feet to take down your
while you're on your hands. You fight with your feet.
We fought with our feet.
So did you do that with like your backs to each other?
Yes, no, with our front.
Oh, so you faced each other.
We faced each other, but
and
our
brought your feet down.
Yeah, and we fought. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was one of the games that I enjoy, and taking down the boys. Oh, that's my thing, is because yes, yeah, that's my kind of like me. When I grew up, I like to tackle the boys, by handstand and see if I can compete with them. And a lot of them, they don't like me because they think I'm too strong for them. Yeah. And they can hit you really hard.
Yeah.
They can even go low, and then they hit your back, and then you just go, backward, and you fall. You fell. But that was one of my favorite games when I was young. Another game that we do is shooting marbles. And marbles to us is the most precious thing because they're so beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. So each time I go and play with other girls, sometimes I cry because whenever you shoot marbles, you have to give so much, right? And a lot of time, sometimes I lose, and I lost all my marbles.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's another thing that and maybe that's why I don't really like playing with the girls, because I felt like they always take
took your marbles.
my marbles, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Anything else that you want to say about that time period?
Yeah. What else do we do when we're young? Me and my brothers, we like to play. We call it. It's almost like cricket. Mm-hmm. We pretend we were playing cricket. And so one time we lined up, or we thought, those poles, but instead it's cans of stuff. So my brother, there's like 3 brothers on the other side, and me and my older brother and my younger brother, and my sister. So we'll be doing, hitting the can, and then that's another favorite game that we do at home. And then my brother decided, they got so mad because we always got win, and so he got so mad and he just threw the stick and he went right in front of my sister's forehead.
Oh no.
Yeah, we have to rush her to the emergency to see to get stitched.
Get the stitches.
Yeah.
Did you play this on the beach? Is that where you would play?
We played on the land,
Oh.
Yeah. most of our play on the beach is playing tackle to see who can be under the water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's another thing that me and my brothers again, as always, me and my brothers will go out in the ocean side and we'll be playing. And then my brother tackled me and I went under the water and I fell on the rock and I hit my tooth
Oh.
and chipped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, we have some fun stuff.
Oh.
Another thing that we like to do is go on a canoe. Yeah, that's another thing. My uncles will have like a big, huge canoe, and we'll go ride on the canoe. Yeah.
That sounds like fun. So you told me that your mom, did she learn to dance from her mom, and then?
Yes, the tradition is very, in Kiribati, a lot of the stuff we're not written. So a lot of they pass on tradition from one generation to the next generation. And so my mom's mother died when she was 8 years old. So she grew up without her mom. She grew up with their dad most of the time, but my dad is very traditional. He's very cultural, and he makes sure that his kids have all this that a woman will have, when they grow up. So my grandfather actually taught my mom how to dance. And then from different women in the village that are willing to help my mom, they raised her to do the dance. And in 1972, around that time, the first art festival was announced on the island, that the whole island from Polynesia, Micronesia, Melanesia, together in Fiji to do the first art festival ever done in the island. So my mom was competing with the group, and she was chosen with the group to go and represent the Kiribati in Fiji to participate in the second art festival. And then when she came back, she knew they were announcing that the second art festival would be in New Zealand, and that was going to be in 1976. So how many years? 4 years later, the next one will be held. So she came home and she said, "Okay, I'm going to train you to be a dancer." And that's when I was 10 years old. She started thinking that I should become a dancer and spend more time dancing instead. Every time after school, I will come home and we'll be doing practice. It was not really serious until almost 1 year after, when the competition is starting to happening. And then the intense of the training was pretty. To me, it was pretty brutal, because you have to learn certain ways to hold your hands up, your hips, your eyes, your head. Everything must be perfect, I guess, according to my mom. So every day after school, I don't do any more chores. She said, "Okay, your sister is now going to be learning how to dance, so a lot of the chores you guys need to help her out." So sometimes me and my mom would spend almost 2 to 3 hours training.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, to me, I enjoy it, because every Saturday we'll go out and do a performance. Like, we'll be performing almost every weekend at different villages and different places. Until, she said that one time she went to another island and they did a really fascinating way of dancing that nobody ever seen. So she came home and she said, "I'm going to teach you another technique that nobody has ever done." And so she invited this lady that she knew. And over there, it's very, very difficult to share your knowledge to another family, because it's all kept as a secret, as your family kind of what
Is
do
it
you
like
call
a secret
it?
family
Yeah,
recipe
yes,
kind of thing?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like a secret family thing, taboo that you can never share with
Right.
anybody. Yeah.
It's,
But
yeah.
but it was really hard for my mom to ask her, but she was willing to teach my mom. So she taught my mom, and then from there, I met her only twice, this teacher, and then after that, they said, okay, because of she doesn't even want to be revealed that she's the teacher. She said, whoever asks you who taught me how to dance, and she told my mom, just say you are the one who taught it. I don't want my name out there. Yeah. So she doesn't want to be recognized, doesn't want to be known by other people. So my mom said, okay, are you sure you have all the credits? I said, no, I don't want the credits. I want you to keep it that you taught your daughter, not me. Yeah. That's kind of like how the mentality over there. Like if you taught somebody else, you don't want to reveal but yourself, saying, always claim that you're the one who, which is here and the opposite is very different, right?
You said that too, that she sometimes got you up early in the morning to take you out on the sand?
Yes, so another tradition that we're starting, you know, my mom, when you're a dancer, there are so many things involved in it. It has to be like one of the tradition, I don't know if it's family tradition, I don't know, or just my family own tradition, and maybe that's how she was taught. Like getting up early in the morning, like 4 o'clock, and she would be bathing me with the herb.
Oh.
Like she'll get all the herbs from the trees, that particular trees, she'll ground them up and put them in my bath. And she said that to help me waking up and be more connected to the dance, the spirit of dancing. And I say, okay, so I just kind of follow my mom. To me, it's more like, okay, so some people call it like magic, you know, you are playing magic, but to my mom, then it's just the knowledge of teaching you that when you wake up in the morning, you wake up with freshness and you're willing to learn and you don't feel lazy.
Did it work?
I think it works. Just make it, maybe I don't know.
I need some of that.
Yeah, so that's the first thing she do. She'll prepare my bath, I take a bath. They said, okay, let's go to the beach. And nobody can ever see us, so everything has to be done in the dark. Like when nobody's looking, nobody's watching. And because we're so excluded where we at, it was the best place to train. And I'll be on the beach, and she'll teach me how to dance on the beach, moving my feet so that they don't go underneath the sand. If she said that you know how to do it when your feet are floating on the sand.
So you're light on your feet.
You're light on your feet, and I think she really believed too, because you're light on your body, you'll be able to move a lot better on the sand. And that's how, every 4 o'clock I get up and have a herb bath and then go down the beach and be trained.
Wow.
And then of course after that I have to get ready and go to school. And then walk. So yes, I think I've done my time of walking.
Wow.
Is it done?
I am gonna end it.